Hey everyone, welcome back to another powerful episode of Soul Mirror. I am host Avik, and today we are tackling a topic that's often wrapped in a kind of pretty words, but needs a serious reality check. Yes, dear listeners, it's a one word, very powerful, is healing. Yeah. So in the age of social media, healing can sometimes get packed as an kind of it's aesthetic, like a vibe, a mood board of crystals, candles, and inspirational quotes, right? But my guest today wants us to see it for what it truly is, like a practice, right? So one that's sometimes messy, often uncomfortable, and always rooted in the inconsistency and intention as well, right? So the listeners joining me is Samantha Kane. So welcome to the show, Samantha.
Hi, Avik. Thank you for having me on. So happy to speak with you today.
Amazing, amazing. So dear listeners, as you all know, I introduce you with our lovely guest today on Daily I introduce you. So today I would love to introduce you with Samantha. So Samantha is a certified holistic life coach and conscious guide who blends somatic healing, shadow work, and the spiritual embodiment to help people break down, break the old patterns, and reconnect with their authentic selves. So, with nearly a decade of coaching experience and a life story rich with both challenge and the transformation, she knows that real winning is not about bypassing the hard truths. Rather, it's all about facing them and building um, grounded rituals that create the true emotional freedom. So, dear listeners, if you have ever wondered, why your feelings why you feel like healings actually feel stalled, or why the good vibes only approach isn't enough, then this conversation might be the reset that you have been looking for. So, not taking much of the time, let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you so much, Avik. That's a great intro. And the spiritual bypassing it's like using love and light and not integrating it or embodying what that even means.
Hmm.
Some people tend to throw these words and terms around without reflecting upon their own life and actually living it. And there's such problem with that because we are love and light beings, but if we're not the personified energetic motion and authentic self behind our words, that is a place where we're out of alignment and we're really showing that we're out of touch with who we are. And essentially, it's a dishonesty with yourself. And when you are not honest with yourself, you're not honest with others, and you're not honest with the world. And then, in fact, you are disconnected, possibly even as far as your soul's purpose. So it's really a space where you can go very out of bounds very quick and stay there because you attune to it in your comfortability. When I say comfortability, it's really a discomfort in the disconnect. And but the hope is, and the reality is, even though these people are out there in the world, there is a way back. There's always a way back because even in the moments we feel stuck and disconnected or uncertain, we can always change. As much as people want to say, oh, that person will never change, that's a judgment. And that's not really a kind way to put your energy out towards another being, even if someone is the same way for years and years and years. And you see potential in someone else or even in yourself, of course change can happen, but it does start within. And as the saying goes, no one else is going to save you but yourself. So if you want to attune to this type of energy and you want to use these terms, love and light, don't take it lightly, or so lightly in the way where you're not actually living it. You're speaking it, but you're not actually doing it. So we want to match our thoughts, words, and actions and align all of those and pair them together so that we are living authentically.
Exactly. Very truly said. Yeah, yeah. And I would love to ask you, like, um, was there a time in your own journey, like, when you realized that you had been unintentionally bypassing the deeper work?
Absolutely. Uh, there were many times, and I think it was the accumulation of many periods and stages of my life that it's like first it was a gentle nudge, and then it was like poking the bear, where this internal voice inside me said, "That's not you. You're playing the ego. You're playing with fire. This isn't really who you are. And you're not meeting yourself. You are showcasing something other than the true essence of who you really are." And it's an inner knowing that will awaken the dragon, so to speak, of when you get to know yourself so well and you get so sick of who you're being in this mal-alignment that you can get out of it. I just, personally, I'm so sick of myself, of acting a certain way where, it's like what it really boils down to is confidence.
Mm.
This in human terms, this is what it would look like on the outside externally is someone with massive confidence, but it's not spirit aligned. It's ego aligned and egocentric. And when we're there, you see someone standing tall, but the words they're saying, their energetic um, field is a little dirty. They're making moves from a space where they're not slow enough to have the best, highest intent involved with their actions. And that's a dangerous space to be in because that's when you say things you don't want to say, you do things that don't resonate with your soul, and you make not the best choices. And so over time, to answer your question, there were many times where, in retrospect, when I look back and reflected upon all these variances over the course of my life, I said, no, oh no, I did the wrong things. I did the wrong things. I made choices that didn't align with me. And like I say, the mass production of all this, eventually I said, enough. This isn't it. There's more, there's better, there's deeper, into where I can go and enjoy my life in a more peaceful way.
Very true. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's such an important realization, like, because um, what I feel like bypassing can feel comforting in the moment, but it keeps us from, like, actually doing that work that can change us. So, uh, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And in terms of, so when we're talking about the bypassing, so spiritual bypassing, like, often looks harmless from outside, but it can be damaging in subtle ways as well. So, how do you define it? Like, what are some of the some of these signs that someone might be caught in it without kind of realizing it?
Ooh, good question. I like that. Thank you. I think it's in suppressing emotions. And the only way to even know that you're doing that is to get really, really, really honest with yourself. You have to get down to bare bones. You have to get down to a place where, and when I said before, getting to know yourself really well, that just means getting really honest. I mean, I to this day know people that still lie. It's wild, wild. But I know people that still lie to other people. Um, they fluff their lives up like they're doing so much better than I know they really are. Um, I'm an empath and I feel things extremely, very, very deeply. I read energies when words aren't even spoken. And so this actually lends very well in my coaching because I read between the lines literally, energetically. And and I see this in so many people. The other way I see it is because I saw it in myself. So now, even from experience and energetically, it's extremely easy for me to see. But how do you see it if you don't have these tools or traits or practices that you've been doing? Is um, how do you be honest with yourself? That's the question. You can start very simply. You can start journaling. You can do a free creative flow of writing and see what comes up for you. Maybe ask yourself one question and then answer it with no judgment, with no even thinking, just constant flow of writing and see what happens and where it takes you. And read it, write in a way that no one's going to read it and there's no judgment for yourself. And then really just take a look and reflect on it. That would be one way to start because if we don't get a good glimpse into the dark parts of who we are, we're not going to be able to enjoy the bright spaces as much and as profoundly and as expansively. So to me, when we don't meet ourselves in all the spaces, we miss out on all the gifts that are here for us and to really enhance our lives. So it's about you don't get to elevating your existence until you see where the shadows are in your life and you start to visit them again without judgment, without shame, without guilt. You just view them as a visitor. It's like the self looking at the self. So if you take it as a place from observation without any emotional attachment, you're just observing something simply and gently. That would be a really good space to start to look into why you are the way you are, who you're being in these moments. And then eventually some enlightenment will happen where you can connect with what's next, what to do, where do we go from here, how can I make this better, where can I find growth in this?
True. Lovely. Really love it. And what's your take on this? Like, do you think social media culture has amplified the temptation to bypass under that guise of positive energy?
Yes, absolutely. So as we all know, there's positives and negatives to social media. And
Yeah.
that's why we have to approach it in an intentional way. Firstly, we should be following people that inspire us, that spark um, a higher energetic level, so that even if it's 8 seconds of viewing or listening or 3 minutes of someone talking, or a video. It's something where there's a takeaway, where it enhances the cells of our being, because you can feel it, and it goes so much deeper than people think. It really enters your subconscious in a way that it can build you or break you. And it's important to know the difference. Yes, it's somewhat important to be in the know of world events or what's happening in your friend's life, or follow along in someone's business as support. However, if it hits your gut in a way that you just don't feel good viewing it, there's just something about it. First, ask yourself why it's a trigger, and say, is this trigger about this person, or is the trigger about me? Is it something that I see in this person or thing that uh, I want for myself? So there's a jealousy or an envy there. Or is it really just a negative vibe, and I just, shouldn't follow this person, or you should X out of this video really quick. Um, you have to know how to decode and decipher all these things for yourself so you can build your world creatively, in a way that's going to foster more of a productive freedom into your life and make you feel good and empowered, more than just getting to know what the worldview, on anything is. Because at the end of the day, it's about your opinion and your personal perspective, um, with a little bit of external, of course. It's great to see other people's opinions. But it's most important to listen to yourself and listen to your own intuition so you can build positivity, into your life rather than otherwise.
Exactly. Wow, amazing. I mean, definitely, like, I love like how you are bringing clarity to this, because naming it often the first step to moving past it. So yeah, and you also talk about creating the grounded rituals for emotional freedom. So according to you, what makes a ritual grounded rather than it's just a symbolic thing?
So, in a grounded effort, that would be where you actually apply your knowledge
Yeah.
and you root it in. It's one thing to know something, it's another to act on it. And you don't have integration of anything you learn
Yeah.
unless or until you act on it appropriately, intentionally, purposefully, mindfully, consciously. And otherwise, it's I can't think of a better word right now, but otherwise it's
Okay.
just it's fluff. No, it's not gonna hit. You know when you learn something and it sparks a feeling in you? Um,
Yeah.
that's kind of it's like pairing the feeling, a positive reinforcement with what
Mhm.
you learn, and then you apply it. Like when we go to school or when we are educated, as children into young adulthood, we are told, we are educated by being told. We are preached to. We are told these things and then we memorize. And we don't necessarily fully apply any of it to our lives. And
Mm.
that would be the best example I could think of right now. So in a sense, in a large sense, it's like we're doing it just to hit the milestone of something in our life, but we're not doing it with intention or integrity. Um, the alter side of that, the best place to go with that would be to find what it is that you want to ground, to purposefully place into your life. Another way to do that is to create space for it by ridding of what doesn't align with you anymore. So all of this is a big dance and balancing act that I help my clients with, and try to figure out a course in a curated way, because everybody's so different and everybody's lives go at a different pace and in a different flow, in a different fashion. But in general, the best way to do this is just to really listen to what makes sense. And if it makes sense and if it feels good and it's something that should be applied into your life, then you have to take action on it. That's the only way to integrate and assimilate into new practice until you make it a ritual, and then it just becomes you, or you become it.
Mm, true, very true, definitely. And uh, like, um, if I also ask, like, have you seen a simple ritual like become a kind of turning point for someone's healing journey? Anything. I mean, I don't need to take any name or something, but if you can share.
Absolutely. The first, I mean, there's so many, but the first thing that came to my mind was breath work. As
Mm,
simple as it sounds, um, most people forget to breathe. They shallow breathe. I made a post about this on my Instagram one time, about breathing, and I at the same time was playing a keyboard, the slowest you could ever play a keyboard from note to note, because the intention behind it was we shallow breathe all day long, and then we wonder why we have anxiety, because we shallow breathe, we have terrible unconscious thinking, and then we meet it with bad choices and, poor behaviors and bad habits, and then that carries weight in our day, and we do this and we don't notice, we don't pay attention, we are just so drone going through, going about our day, that it's not until you notice, okay, I'm hardly even breathing. I'm breathing through my chest right now instead of
mm,
my stomach or my belly, and I'm not taking a moment to pause and feel and notice the senses of my environment, and notice, why I have this anxiety right now. So I've helped a lot of people, including myself, with simply just various types of breath work and placing it in instrumental parts of the day, instrumental moments of their life, so that they can start to notice their patterns and behaviors respectfully, and then learn how to interchange them for more positive reinforcements instead. And what I've seen is an exceptional amount of improvement in themselves, where, the anxiety doesn't necessarily fully disappear. But I also want to add, anxiety, just because I'm speaking about this specifically, is not a bad thing. And I hope people can switch their mind into thinking or having an understanding. Anxiety is actually like a marker, I think. It's a sign that something is a little off, and it's actually a key moment for us to notice, oh, okay, well, why am I feeling this way? What is happening now in this moment that I need to look at? So it's actually in these emotions and moments in time that we are gifted, and breath work really breathes life into the comprehension of all of it so much better.
true, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what uh, makes grounded rituals so powerful, because they are not just the ideas, and they are kind of, I would say, actions that we can anchor into when um, life feels uncertain. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm, lovely. I mean, this is really, really lovely. And like, also, many people start healing work with enthusiasm, but uh, then struggle to stay consistent also. I mean, which is sometimes common also, right? So, what do you say to someone who feels discouraged? Like when uh, progress feels very slow or messy kind of thing.
Oh, another good question. So that is so realistic
Mm.
to exactly what happens. We teeter-totter into some type of self-sabotage very easily and somewhat quickly, depending on who you are and your determination. It's very it's such a common thing that happens. It happens to all of us as human. It's hard for it not to happen. But again, to me, this is another point of validation that it's like the universe asking you, do you want what you really think you want? So it's another moment to pause, take a look at it, and say, okay, we've gone this far. Is this something I really want? Most of the time, the answer is yes, if it's something you've already started that's supposed to be a positive reflection of your life. And and then we can just simply brush it off and move on. It's it's an ask. It's a question. It's a moment to stop and say, okay, what do I need to look at here? But
Yeah.
it's also a time so it's a time to notice and acknowledge, and then it's a time to keep moving. And I help my clients move through this pretty well. Most of them handle this pretty well. And some people move through it faster than others. Everybody's different. But it is an important stage to go through. It's part of the process. We're not robots, of course. So with this, my accountability really helps. And that's why coaching is so lovely, because to have someone as an accountability partner, it's not someone yelling at you or smacking a ruler on your hand. You're in person with them, it's like, come on, you could do this. But in a sense, it's nice to have someone else partnered with you, because you have someone, or whether you have a coach or not, anybody. I mean, a lot of people have therapists, or some people might, have a brother or a best friend or a parent, there's somebody that's helping them along. It is great if you're in a moment where you're really, really trying to make a change, and perhaps it's something you're really struggling with, to have someone else follow along on your journey and never tell you what to do, but you have a sense of support, is huge. And it helps you go a lot further in the process when you do have these moments of weakness, as opposed to going alone at it, which we could do it too. We could do a lot by ourselves, and we do, and that's also
Mm.
fine. But when you do have the support, it seems to make it go almost warp speed from what I see.
True. Very true. Yeah. And do you believe that embracing the messiness is actually a part of what makes the practice effective?
Yes. It's like that saying, when you stumble, make it part of the dance.
Uh,
It's exactly that. It's like, okay, I goofed, I tripped, I fell. Sometimes I fall on my face. And sometimes people see that and it's embarrassing. And then sometimes I just see it myself and it's still embarrassing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I did that again. I said that again. I slipped back into that bad habit. Uh-oh. But it pairs with that human part of us, that it shows us humility, and it shows us the spaces where we should bring gratitude in for the growth that we've had, and that it's it is a um it's progress over perfection, and that in the imperfection we should just smile. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've just sat alone. It might look creepy if someone had a camera on me by myself, where I'm just all of a sudden smiling at myself in a moment where I messed up, but then I realize it's okay. And then I smile. where I kind of smirk and go, all right, it's kind of funny because we have to have humor about these things, we can't be so serious. There's moments for that, and then there's also moments to keep it lighthearted and remember that we're just these soulful sparks going through life and trying to do our best.
Exactly. Wow. Amazing. I mean, that's such a freeing perspective, I'd say, because it takes the pressure off perfection
Mhm.
and at the same time puts the focus back on the process. So that's really important. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Well said.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing such honesty and depth into this conversation, Samantha. And I'd say, like, you have reminded us that healing is not about just curating those vibes, but also at the same time showing up for ourselves with the consistency, compassion, and courage. So that is very important. And uh, for the listeners, if you are listening right now, or maybe you'll be listening later, here's the takeaway for you. Like, you don't have to wait for the perfect mood, or maybe the perfect setting, or the perfect version of yourself to start healing. Because um, you begin with one grounded practice, keep showing up, and like we are talking about the consistency, and let the transformation unfold over time. So, if today's episode has resonated with you, share it with someone who might be caught in the loop of good vibes only and needs a reminder that the real magic is in the walk itself. And so, Samantha, if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium?
Yes, so you can find me on my website at rootswingswellness.com. I offer a free guide there of 5 powerful well-being tips. And also, I'm mostly on Instagram, so at Roots Wings Wellness. Thank you, Avik.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, what I'll do is I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference so that you can easily reach out to Samantha. And with this hope, until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep building your life and follow the healing practice. So, thank you so much.